another episode of Teen Scene. I'm your host, Ariel Brown. I have a great episode for you today. We're going to be going back to School Court TV. But I also want to let you know about some programs for young teens that are coming up in Maryland. Well, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
So there, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Mr. George. When I'm talking, guess who else talks? Anybody got a clue?
Her face is something that a person wouldn't exactly welcome. Her mother doesn't know her daughter well enough to know that.
Mr. Johnson, will either control yourself and your emotions, or I have the nice gentleman over there see that the remainder of your testimony comes from a video camera of you in a cell.
I'm going to take a brief recess and come back and give you my ruling.
Welcome back. If you're enjoying the show and you want to become part of School Court TV, all you have to do is audition May 19th at Marley Station, or you can log on to schoolcourttv.org. So let's go see what's going on at School Court TV.
Welcome to School Court TV. I'm your host, Victory Davey. Today we're kicking off Season 2 with Liberty Law Firm versus Team WIN. Just who will move on to the next level? Well, stay tuned and find out. This is School Court TV.
School Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Doug Gansler now presiding. The first case on the docket is case number 0205, Krieger versus the Harford County Police Department. And I would ask that everybody turn off their cell phones at this time. Judge.
Thank you. Plaintiffs, let's hear your opening statement and introduce yourself.
Good evening, Your Honor. My name is Asa Wilson, and this is my co-counsel, Dominique Edwards. We are here because we are the counsels for plaintiff Stephanie Krieger. Thank you.
Okay, and I'd love to hear your opening statement if you have one.
Yes. Your Honor, on November 13th, 2010, Stephanie Krieger came home before her provisional license curfew, only to find her mother passed out in the kitchen. In a state of panic, Your Honor, she and her brother put their mother in the back seat of the car and drove to the hospital as fast as they could. On the way there, Officer Jameson pulled them over for speeding. Once he noted that she was passed out in the back seat, he escorted her to the hospital and then gave them a ticket for $275. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Defense, introduce yourselves if you would, and please give us your opening statement.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Alexis Ofori.
My name is Avery Williams.
My name is Daniel Kelleher.
And we're from Team WIN.
Okay, do you have an opening statement you'd like to give us today?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is it?
Good afternoon. Ms. Krieger was speeding 95 in a 55 zone. Officer Jameson is here to give Ms. Krieger a ticket for $275 because she was speeding in a 95 and a 55 zone. Ms. Krieger deserves a ticket for this, and everybody is equal. Everybody is equal under the law. So, thank you.
And why don't we go ahead and have you present your case, plaintiffs?
On November 13th, Stephanie was coming home from school to find her mother passed out on the kitchen floor. Stephanie was in sudden shock. Not knowing what to do, she pushes through all of her stuff to find her phone.
I object. There's no evidence to state that Stephanie even was looking for a phone when she was in the task of driving her mother to the hospital.
Were you there?
There's no evidence that proves.
Were you in the kitchen?
No, I was not young.
Okay, then if you were, your objection's overruled. Go ahead.
Stephanie decided to take matters into her own hands. So she drives her dear mother to the hospital after a 12 o'clock curfew. On the way there, Stephanie was going way beyond what the speed limit was. So the police, Officer Jameson, decides to pull her over and gives her a ticket for speeding while driving. Thank you.
Okay, now you have your chance. Now, what do you have to say for yourselves?
Your Honor, today we are here to state why Officer Jameson is not going to revoke the ticket from Ms. Krieger of $275 and why her provisional license should be restricted from her because she went against the restrictions that dealt with her provisional license. Your Honor, Stephanie Krieger went out after her state-imposed curfew of 12 a.m. because when she came home, she found her mother laying unconscious on the kitchen floor. Yes, we know this is an emotional instance for Stephanie, but she went out after her 12 a.m. curfew to drive her mother to the hospital. Not only did she go out after her state-imposed curfew, she was driving 95 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone, Your Honor. This is reckless endangerment, Your Honor. She was a danger to her fellow drivers, herself, her younger brother Stephen, and her mother, who was laying unconscious in the back seat.
I object, Your Honor. There's no evidence stating that she caused any problems on the highway, not stating that she ran over anything or crashed into anything.
No, she's not being charged for running over anybody or crashing into anything, is she?
No, but he said that she was recklessly driving.
That's recklessly driving, not to hit anybody or run anyone over, do you?
No.
I hope you're enjoying the show, and remember, if you want to get involved in School Court TV, auditions are May 19th at Marley Station, or you can also log on to schoolcourttv.org. So one of the programs that is coming is the Day of the Girl, September 22nd. So what do girls want? Let me read this to you. We want equality in everything, equal access to education opportunities in the subjects we choose, recognition for how good we are at math, science, and lots of other stuff, more opportunities to play sports, media images that show girls and women who actually look like us, healthcare that helps us live stronger, longer lives, freedom from violence, so we can feel safe in our bodies, to make our own choices regardless of the culture, stereotypes, hemisphere, or history we're born into. Equal work, equal pay, and equal power. Is this too much to ask? Well, we're not asking. We're telling that we are the future of our planet and our people. We deserve lives filled with abundance, where our voices have impact. We want to be valued and respected so we can exceed expectations. We want what everyone wants, to live our lives in our own ways. So don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Today's show is about school programs in the Maryland area for up-and-coming teens and women. So don't forget about Day of the Girl, which will be September 22nd. Join the movement. Meanwhile, let's go back to School Court TV.
Now, are you finished with your statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your evidence?
I would like to say that reckless endangerment is a crime consisting of acts that create a large risk of serious physical injury to another person. Had Stephanie crashed into her fellow drivers, she could have worsened her mother's condition, which would have made the whole situation avoidable because it would have made it a waste, and her mother could have passed away in the back seat. Your Honor, while she was driving 95 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone, Officer Jameson pulled her over on the side of the road and asked her, was she aware of the risk that she would take for driving 95 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone? She merely insisted on continuing to drive her mother to the hospital, Your Honor. Keep in mind that on September 16, 2010, Stephanie had to know all the laws that went with her provisional license, being that it was required for her to acquire a provisional license, Your Honor. It is a police's job to constantly enforce the law no matter what. And we need Stephanie to understand that she broke the law and that there are consequences to be held in effect for this. It doesn't matter if her mother already had passed away, she was on the way to the funeral, if she was about to get fired from her job, if she was late again. It doesn't matter. Everyone is equal under the law, Your Honor, and we need Ms. Krieger to understand that she broke the law, and the law is the law, and that is the fact. And
so you want her you're trying to send a message to her or to everybody else that might speed?
We're trying to enforce the message to Ms. Krieger, Your Honor, that even though we understand this was an emotional instance for her, we need her to understand that there are consequences to be held in effect.
Your Honor, object. Yes, the law is the law, and if the law is the law in the state of Maryland, if this is your first...
This is because the law is the law, but keep going.
Okay. In the state of Maryland, if you do have a provisional license and this is your first offense, your license is not supposed to be suspended. You're only supposed to go to a driver improvement session.
You ready for some questions I can ask you?
No. No, Your Honor.
You already did? Okay, so there's two things she did wrong. She was speeding and she was driving after her midnight provisional license says you're not allowed to drive, right?
Yes, yes.
And you're not contesting at all she did the illegal conduct. You don't want me to decide whether or not she may not have known that she was speeding or may not have known what time it was, right? You agree she was after midnight and she was speeding, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you're just saying that because we should feel sorry for her, that we should not give her fine or suspend her license?
No, we must understand that this is a 17-year-old child. It's not like this was an adult who would have had more experience on how to handle this crisis.
Right, and that's why we give her a provisional license. But here's the question I have. Do you think the police officer should, every time someone gets pulled over, say, let me ask you why you're speeding, and then have the police officer decide whether or not they think that's a good reason or not?
No, Your Honor, but if he is supposed to uphold the law, knowing that she had a provisional license, he should not have let her follow him to the hospital. He should have called the ambulance to the site itself.
Where do you live?
Me, myself?
Yeah.
Randallstown, Maryland.
Mm-hmm. And you ever called the ambulance? How long does it take the ambulance to get there?
I'm not sure for sure, but yes, I have called the ambulance before.
It takes some time, right?
Yes.
Sometimes a lot of time. So while mom's in the back seat, passed out, needing to go to the hospital, you want to just have to sit there and wait for an ambulance when you've got a police escort right to the hospital? That's what you're saying they should have done?
No, or he could have taken Miss Krieger and put her in the back seat of his vehicle and taken her to the hospital himself.
Well, why would that matter? Because she still, the police officer, Officer Jameson, saw her speeding and saw her driving the car behind the wheel after 12 o'clock. So she's already broken the law, right? So why shouldn't she get penalized?
Because if she has already broke the laws on her provisional license, she shouldn't continue if the cop is still there or the officer is still there. He should take control of the situation and handle it differently. And
so you're blaming the police officer for doing something wrong, not her, not your client?
Well, yes, we do know that she was speeding, but he also should have done something differently. And it's easy after the fact to say that.
Should we give him the ticket?
Come again?
Should we give the police officer the ticket?
No.
All right, let me ask the defense some questions. Do you, Mr. Williams?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Williams, do you have any parents?
Yes, I do have parents.
You have parents?
Yes.
And if you came home and your parent were unconscious and you needed to take that parent to the hospital, do you think you should, how fast you should go, 20, 30?
Your Honor.
Mosey along?
If I came home and found my parents staying unconscious, I would frantic like Miss Krieger did. But I would also have to understand that the fact that I'm even driving my parents to a hospital, that I must focus so I don't cause the situation to get worse. As Miss Krieger did, she sped and not
so you would get in the car after midnight and drive your parents to the hospital?
Yes, but I would also make sure
that I break the law.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, isn't that something? So you know only break the law, but you wouldn't speed, is that what you're saying?
I was saying that, yes, I would do anything to save my loved one, but I would also accept the consequences of my actions. I would understand that my license would have to be restricted, and I would accept the ticket of $275 because I knowing that I was driving illegally, going 95 miles per hour in the 55 mile per hour zone, I would have to take the $275 ticket. There's nothing I could say to stop that from happening because I knew what I was doing was illegal. no matter what the circumstances were.
What do you say to that?
Boy, I love the way those kids tried those cases. So impressive. I'm here at the Women's Heritage Center, where teens and women can come down and learn many things about women who helped put Maryland on the map. Meanwhile, we're not finished with School Court TV.
You all did well, and defendant, Mr. Marsh, did an excellent job.
This young girl was not out here joyriding with a bunch of friends waiting for trouble. I mean, can we all just be real for a second? I guarantee that no one in this courtroom has been put in this type of situation not knowing what to do. So I ask you, Your Honor, to take judicial notice and uplift the charges off of her ticket.
So do you think different people should be treated differently under the law, or should everybody be treated the same under the law?
No, I understand that everyone should be treated equally.
So you think everyone should be treated equally except for your client?
No.
Everybody else except for Stephanie today should be treated equally?
No.
But she hasn't, you're saying she should be treated different, right? You just said that.
No, I'm not saying that.
You're saying she should not have to pay the fine and not lose her license because she had a reason for knowingly breaking the law.
I mean, there could be other ways to resolve the issue, but...
But the good people that we elect to our legislature in Annapolis decided that the law should be you can't speed over 55 on that street, and then you can't drive after midnight when you're 17, right, no matter who you are.
Also,
they will say, well, but if your name's Stephanie, you don't have to, you can do it.
yes, Your Honor, but for her provisional license, it should not be suspended because this was her first offense. And in the state of Maryland, if this is your first offense, you only have to go to a driver improvement course.
Is that what it says in the law?
Yes.
We have evidence right here.
You have what?
Evidence.
Evidence?
Documentation.
You may approach the bench with your evidence. Thank you, sir. Okay. So that's what that, so counsel, what do you say to that? Have you read the law? Did you read the law before you came in here?
Somewhat, Your Honor, yes.
You did? Did you see the part where it says the maximum penalty for Maryland provisional license holders under 18-year-old first provisional license offense driver improvement course?
Okay, well
So
now
Officer Jameson went beyond the law, didn't he? He violated the law himself.
Yes, Your Honor. So now, taking that into account, we do know that that is somewhat of a strict penalty for Ms. Krieger, but even if...
Well, strict is beyond the maximum that the law allows. That's a different word for strict, right? That's called overreaching or something, right?
Well, knowing that Officer Jameson now overreached the law for provisional license, we do still feel that there is a consequence that Stephanie Krieger should have since she went out after her state-imposed curfew. Whatever the consequence may be, we feel as though she should take it, and knowing that what she did was wrong, she shouldn't have anything to say about it because we feel as though...
Do you disagree this is her first offense?
I agree this is her first offense.
Okay, so there's no thing... And so would you think that a driver improvement course would be an adequate message to send to her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're no longer trying to take her license away from her forever. You're doing a little driver improvement course, right?
Yes, but we do still want Ms. Krieger to pay the ticket of $275, Your Honor.
Is that because you get to get some of that money because you're a lawyer?
No, Your Honor. But she was driving 95 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. This is 40 miles over the speed limit. And keep in mind that speeding is noted as soon as you're 10 miles over the speed limit.
But isn't the whole reason why we have speed limits so that nobody gets hurt or nobody dies?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right, and so in this case, nobody got hurt and nobody died. The only person that could have died or could have gotten hurt was mom in the back seat, right?
Yes.
So don't you think that's a reasonable excuse or reason to break the limit in this case?
No, Your Honor, because
Are you heartless?
everyone is equal under the law, Your Honor. Everyone. It doesn't matter what instance. As I said before, it doesn't matter if she was going to a funeral. It doesn't matter if she was about to get fired from her job or if she was going to get her rent money, Your Honor. It does not matter. Everyone is equal under the law, and we need her to understand that it doesn't matter what the consequence is. If you break the law, you must take the crime. I mean, you must take the offense.
If you're just robbed a bank and you're speeding away from the police, you think that's the same as somebody who's trying to save someone's life? You think the law should just ignore the reality of the situation?
No, I feel the law should charge the man for 1, stealing from the bank, and 2, speeding.
You do, all right. I think you're kind of heartless. I don't think you're taking into consideration the reality of where we are. I mean, the judicial system has a lot of discretion involved in it, doesn't it? Like judges, for example, I'm the judge. I can decide to lock somebody up and throw away the key, or say, you know, I'm going to give you a second chance.
Yes.
Well, why shouldn't we be able to do that in this case?
Because, Your Honor, if that was the case and we focused on her specific case, say if everyone in the United States had a same situation, then we would have to let everybody get away with it, and that would make the law system unjust.
I object, Your Honor.
You objecting again?
Yeah.
Why are you always objecting?
Because all Stephanie was trying to do was to be a hero. I mean, it's not like she was, well, she's being persecuted as a criminal. She's trying to be a hero. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, if she's trying to be a hero, then she should just suck up her 275 bones and be a hero, right? That's what real heroes, you have to give up something to be a hero, right? It's not all good. Sometimes you have to take some bad with that.
Also, Your Honor, the opposing counsel does say that everyone is equal under the law, but Officer Jameson clearly understood the seriousness of the situation and guided her to the hospital before giving her a ticket. And he should have, not should have, he could have gave her the ticket at the site where he pulled her over, but he saw how urgent this was and still drove her to the hospital, escorted her to the hospital.
Your Honor, I would like to point out that, as I said before, it is the police's job to fully enforce the law. And one of the laws of the police officer is never to abandon an emergency situation. And abandonment is the act of giving something up. And negligence is failure to use reasonable care. And if Officer Jameson neglected the fact to escort her to the hospital, knowing her mother was unconscious in the back seat, he would be failing to use responsible care to care for the mother.
See, I like police officers. That's my thing, so I don't want to be busting up on the police officers. Let's keep this not about
okay.
And let's keep this about what the case is about, right? Ms. Krieger, well, she should have to get a ticket. And don't you think that, what if next time she says, when Officer Jameson pulls her over at 1 in the morning, I was driving really fast to the 7-Eleven because I was starving, and if I didn't get those donuts, I was going to pass out and maybe die. So the police officer give a ticket then?
Well, no, Your Honor, because this time there was proof that her mother was really passed out in the back seat, needing to go to the hospital. Next time...
Well, where are you going to draw the line, though? Where are we going to draw the line? Where's the law going to draw the line?
Well, this was a matter of life or death, and 7-Eleven, that's just something that doesn't... It's not that important.
She was going to starve to death. She was so hungry she had those donuts.
There's no proof that she was hungry, so... There's no proof that she was hungry.
I'm just saying what she was.
Well, there's no proof. You can't prove that she was hungry, but there's evidence in this situation.
Well, it's 5 of 12, and she's speeding to get home to beat her curfew so she doesn't lose her provisional license. Is that a good reason not to give her a ticket?
Can you repeat that?
Speeding ticket? Let's say Officer Jameson saw her and she was going 95, but she said, I had to go 95 because I'm not allowed to drive after 12, and I needed to get home. Should they give her the ticket?
No, he should give her a warning because she was trying to uphold her provisional license.
So she's got a warning there?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you guys better not get hit by the speeders. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have the defense give a closing statement right now. How about that? And then we'll give you your chance. You guys think about this for a second over there, how we're going to treat different people differently all the time. Go ahead.
Your Honor, young drivers are given a probationary period.
Can you do me a big favor? Take a big step that way, just so you, because I want you to be friends with your other lawyers. Go ahead.
Your Honor, for young drivers have a probationary period for which they learn good driving skills and habits. The rules of driving are made to protect drivers, passengers, and the public. Now we all care very deeply for our mothers, and finding a parent unconscious is very shocking. Now she did not use good judgment in taking her brother and putting her mom in the car with no emergency attention or care. we understand that the officer does care for the situation, because instead of giving the ticket at the site, he gave a police escort to the hospital and then gave the police escort on site, and that's why we believe the ticket should not be revoked.
And the better judgment would have been to let mom stay on the floor? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if she had a certain disease or something that she couldn't be moved or anything, they could call 911 and get an ambulance over there to take immediate care of her mom.
Okay. Thank you, counsel. Plaintiff's closing statement.
On behalf of Stephanie Krieger, Your Honor, I ask that you take judicial notice and find no guilty charges. I ask that you won't blind your eyes but to see the real picture, what's really going on. We only get one mother, not 2, 3, or 4. We only get one. All Stephanie was trying to do, like I said before, was to be a hero. Yet she's being charged and viewed as a persecutor. As a criminal. This child deserves a medal, not a ticket. Thank you, Your Honor.
Farzan Mohammed, visionary and creator of School Court TV. Ambition of this show, to create and develop leadership in our youth through researching facts, developing and presenting those facts effectively in written and verbal form. To quote Mr. Mohammed, to have our youth see any situation from inside the box, outside the box, and around the box. Make things happen. Take leadership seriously. Do this through School Court TV.
Now I'm going to make my ruling. And nobody's going to get all teary-eyed about it. I'm going to tell you that, but we're going to rule it, okay? All right, and then, so here's the decision that the court's going to make. I'm going to rule that Ms. Krieger does not need to go to any driving improvement class, because I've got discretion on that, right? The maximum is driving improvement class, and you guys wanted to suspend her license. I don't want to do that either, because I think that she did the right decision, because that time thing seems kind of arbitrary. But I am going to give her a ticket because she did speed really, really fast. And I understand that she had a reason for doing it, but we do have to uphold the law. But I'm not going to give her the $275 ticket because I'm a judge. I do what I want. So we're going to give her a ticket, and it's going to be a little different. She's going to have to pay $200. But instead of going to the state where it usually goes, it's going to be contributed to charity for the disease, to prevent the disease that her mother had that night. And that is my final ruling. Judge, the court stands in adjournment.
We want to show them how to wear the school court banner. In school court they learn how to debate in the best of manners. First they get hired, get a smile from employer, preparing out future business leaders and lawyers. Learn how to fact find info on the back like competitors like football sack time. Whether a defendant or plaintiff, I won't bend, and I will do the best that I can in school court. School court, school court, school court, school court.
Wow, that was another really great show. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm your host, Ariel Brown, and I'll see you next time.